Hold, hold. All right, I will.
That's good. Like I said, they weren't mine, so that you can't blame me on that one. Fine. Hello, welcome everyone. Grab a seat, grab a seat. If you do want to see, if you want me to see, if you put your hand up to ask a question, do make sure to sit towards the middle of the room because it cuts off on the edges a little bit. So if you want to ask questions, hello, hi. If you want to ask questions, do sit towards the middle so I can see you. And also, if you do want to ask questions, just put your hand up and I'll stop what I'm doing and you'll need to go to the microphone that's there and you'll have to talk there because otherwise I can't hear you, okay? Okay, good. I'm assuming the rousing silence means yes. If not, too bad, you'll just have to deal with it. But yes, welcome. Make sure you've grabbed a print. There's a little postcard as a freebie for everyone who's at the panel. I hope everyone's having a good day at the con. Yeah? Woo! Okay, there we go. There's some noise. Good. I'm glad to hear it. All right, looks like we've got a few people in here. So there's a lot of people who want to learn about VTubing, huh? I'm guessing, or you just want to watch me show off, which I'm totally fine with as well. I'm happy to do that. Oh no, how tragic. I have attention. Whatever shall I do? Sorry, it's a little hard to hear you. Yep, that's it, the microphone.
Good time seeing one of your panels this weekend.
Yeah, it's good. It's good seeing a couple of familiar faces. And I don't know if anyone saw me when I was walking around before, or rather being wheeled around by my chauffeur. But if you did, hopefully I got to say hello. The internet was a little bit slow then, so apologies if I was a bit slow to reply, but they let me out for a little bit of a walk in my cage, and then I was stuffed back into this panel room. So soon I shall be free. But until then, I'm stuck here. But that's fine because it means I get to talk to everyone here. All right, so it looks like we've got quite a few people in already. It looks like everyone's settled. So I'll start with a little bit of an introduction. So if you don't know me, my name's Jezebel Belladonna. I'm a magician's assistant. I'm a VTuber. I stream on Twitch. I also make some dumb TikTok videos sometimes, and I put my archives of my streams up on YouTube, that sort of thing. I've been a VTuber for just over a year now. It was actually about 2 weeks ago, I had my first anniversary. So I actually got a new outfit as a result of that. It's actually quite new. I've only had a chance to use it a little bit so far, but you know what? How about I show you guys? Ready? Ta-da! Yeah. So this is my model that I use for VTubing. As you can see, it's a 2D model. So there's two different types of models. There's 2D versus 3D. This is a 2D model. I liked the style of it, but maybe I'll get a 3D model at some point. At the time, I couldn't find the type of art that I wanted as a 3D model, so I went with 2D. But yeah, there's like all these options for doing VTubing. So what I've done is, for this one, since it's a more in-depth talking about it, I'm going to be showing off some of the software. I have a recording that shows the differences between softwares and differences between some screen sharing tech as well. And I'll show you a little bit of like OBS and all that too. So I'm just going to change back into my other outfit. There we go. And what I'll do first is, let me find it. So who here, has anyone here, do we have people here who watch streams? Has anyone done a bit of streaming? Have you seen some of the stuff? I see a few hands, a little bit waving. Yeah, okay. So you probably see a lot of stuff, like you'll see stuff in chat, you'll see stuff that comes up on screen, all that fun stuff. There's a lot that you have to set up for VTubing. So for example, let me find my window. Here it is. So as you can see here, you can see my mic going off down here. So I've had to set up a whole bunch of settings to make sure that it works with the type of microphone I have, because it's not necessarily the type of mic you have. It's more so how you set it up, how you calibrate it. You can have a cheaper mic and have better sound. Obviously, it varies. It's kind of like having a camera. You can have like a nice camera that takes nice photos. You can have like a really good camera, but if you have really bad settings on it, then the photos are going to suck, right? And then over here, you can see all these little things here. All these here. These allow me to switch between different scenes. So if I want to do things like, for example, go to my game overlay screen, suddenly I'm here. You can see all my game stuff. You can see I've got some pictures up at the moment, but you can see like this is the panel that I use for when I'm doing games usually, or if I need something that needs a big screen display. Up the top, you can see my chat. So if I go say hello, it comes up there. You can't see it as easily with here because of obviously I'm not live right now, but you can see that I've got redeems and things like that here. So you have like sound alerts that can go off, and these are all customizable. You can add them to your stream. So for example, one of the things I do is I have this one here, which I use, which the chat can use. And then that allows me, when people do that, see how it comes up over here with the little thing, the little notification here that tells me someone wants to see a magic trick. So I do a magic trick. Yeah, it's really cool. And there's some really cool integrations and stuff with it too. So there's a new program called TITS. And it's Twitch integrated something studio. I can't remember the full name for it, but it's you can use it to throw stuff at the VTuber, and your VTuber will like get knocked around and things like that. But yeah, so like you can see here, like there's all these different bits and pieces here. This is my game one. So my game one has like a lot of stuff. But you can see like my alerts and things like that. So I'll demonstrate here. So alerts is another thing that's like quite customizable. So for example, if someone were to give me a tip, for example, so that'll come up, or I can have if someone subscribes to me, or and things like that, you know, whatever I want to do. So you can have that all customizable. Obviously mine's a little bit more magic themed. You have, when you subscribe, you get doves that show up because I have doves, and I do that, you know, I have 3 doves that I have with me. There they are there. So I have, you know, I call everyone who follows me my doves. And as you can see here, there's like a whole bunch of different settings. I wonder how well the audio works through this. Let me try. Let me see, where is my, can you hear that? Can you hear the music playing? You can at least see it. You can see it playing here if you can't hear it. But you can set music up, you can set all sorts of things up. And yeah, the way you set it up depends. Now I actually have a Stream Deck, so I actually have my Stream Deck set up to do stuff. So I don't actually have to click over here. In general, I can actually go to my Stream Deck and I can do, for example, my BRB screen or my chat screen. And then because this is a special one, so AnimeFest is a special one, I don't have one set up for it. Oh, where am I? There I am. Took a second. But with Vtubing, you have all these really good tools that you can utilize. So I'll show you something really cool. So with Vtubing itself, so I'm using what's called VTube Studio. So that's what you can see here. You can see that. And then if I do this, for example, I can add items. So let's add some, let's do this. We'll do some crystal slides. Suddenly, I have crystal slides. And if you really want to, I can do this. Let me see. I am a Christmas tree now, woohoo. So VTube Studio has like a lot of these really good things. Other programs have started implementing them as well. And I'll show you here, like you can't quite see everything. Let me minimize the OBS window so you can see a bit better. So you have the actual application itself. So something that's really cool is this display lighting. So you can see how I look right now, right? But if I do this, now you can see over here, you can see over on the side where it's got the little picture. Now, if I zoom out, see how it's changed colors? So you can implement this for things for mood lighting. So for example, if you're playing a horror game, maybe, I've done that with horror games, like when I play Phasmo. I've done it for, I think I did it a little bit for Outlast when I played that. And then that's the only plugin I have right now. But there's ones you can do where you can actually do things like change your hair color. It changes the color of the model itself. And then over here, and this is gonna look really bad because I haven't labeled anything. So because this is a new model, everything is unlabeled at the present, but you can see all these hotkeys. And that's how I do the things like the animation. So my Stream Deck is tied to these hotkeys, and I can show you in a minute. But if I do, for example, I don't know which this one is. I haven't labeled them all because I didn't get any time. Whoopsies. But if I go to, say, for example, if I want to take a drink, that uses these special hotkeys, and you can change them around. Like they're very, very, it's very customizable. And it's not just a VTube Studio. So what I'll do is, let me find it. So I took a video. So this video has VTube Studio. It has another software called PRPR Live. And then I've also taken a video, the video with what's called OBS Ninja. So you might see sometimes when VTubers, there's multiple VTubers on the same screen and they're all moving. So you can use like OBS Ninja, or there's one that I use. It's a little bit better quality, but uses the root of the OBS Ninja. So you have like a link on a web page with OBS Ninja that you use as like a fake camera, and then you give that to the other person. And then Electron is kind of like a one step further, where it's like an application and it kind of does a little bit better with the quality. But I'll show you the difference. Let me find where it went to. Here we go. So the other thing is too, when you do VTubing, you want to make sure that the person who's doing all the rigging, so all the movement, you want to make sure to tell them what software that you're going to be using, because if you don't, things don't go quite right. And I use PRPR Live for this example so you can kind of see, but let me put that on for you and you'll understand. So as you can see, like having the knowing what software you're going to be using is very important, because it doesn't translate. So with my model, so when I do things like, or with my mouth, those can only be used with an iPhone, and they're not tracked in other applications. So I specifically wanted those. So that's one of the reasons why I use VTube Studio. But there's other programs that use other things. So you kind of have to make sure that the person who's doing it all is actually knows how to set the parameters and all the fancy technical back end stuff with your model. Otherwise, you'll end up with the eyes missing from the skull that you have with PRPR Live. It's quite funny. There's actually a clip I have of my old model where if you were in the early panel, Zane, one of the other members of MLC, we were doing a joint stream with our models, and yeah, my eyes were just going just the whole time. Didn't matter what I was doing, because it was just not registered the same way. So and I'll show you another thing too, because obviously you've got my model here, but I'll bring up okay, so you can see there's a whole heap of different ones. So I have this one, for example, which is my Chibi Model, which can also, and I can also do, and I can summon a dove on this one too. but it's on my head instead. So you don't have to have like a super fancy model. You can have something that's a little bit more simple and cute like this. You can have, I'll show you my original model. I don't have a key thing for it. Let me grab it. Here it is over here. So this is actually the model I started out with. So as you can see, the rigging is a little bit different. There's obviously not as much movement. This one wasn't anywhere near as expensive. There's like a couple of small things. Like you notice that the mouth movement's not as natural as my current model, things like that. So you can, like, when I started out, I started with this model because I wasn't 100% sure if I wanted to do this. So I didn't want to put, I did a lot of money into something that I wasn't going to enjoy doing after like a month or something. So, but I found I enjoyed it, so I upgraded. And the model I actually upgraded to is this one, which is actually where I have my old outfit and my new outfit, my my Lolita-esque outfit. Once it's done, there we go. So this is my original outfit that I have. Obviously, my hair isn't as decorated, things like that. And let me try and do it to show you. So you can't move my mouth the same way with this one. And I can't do things like stick out my tongue because this is my older model. So if I change outfits for this one, it's the very frilly model. So and this is good too. What's really cool with this is with VTube Studio specifically, you can actually have multiple instances of it up. So I haven't set it up here, but because it's a little bit tricky because it uses up a lot of power, but you can actually do like different things with it. So you can have one where it's like zoomed in or out. I actually have, let me switch back to normal. 1 second. There we go. So you can do things like, for example, if I do this. So I have a key set for this. I have a key set for this, especially for this stream, this panel. And then what I'll do is, since we've been talking about Stream Deck a bit, here we go. So this is my Stream Deck. So you can see here, these are all the little buttons that I have. Can everyone see that okay? It's a little bit small, I think. Let me find it. Where is it? Aha, here it is. Let me make this a bit bigger so it's a little bit easier to see. So if I go all the way out, okay, here we go. So you can see I didn't have anything on these top rows, so I just put some of my emotes because it's cute and decorated. But you can see like I have stuff for Twitch, I have stuff for Discord. So when I'm doing collabs, I do things like muting. And then this is for VTube Studio. These are all kind of like a mess, as you can see. So this is how all my old setup was. So you can see all the different the things that I set up, and I use different hotkeys for it. Versus this one, which is not all set up yet because it's still quite new and I have to rejig a few things. So, and then you can see like the different types of things. And it's called Date Bell because it's like a going out to a fancy dinner type outfit. That's all it is. Don't look too much into it. All right. Does anyone have any questions so far that you'd like before I continue talking about stuff? No? Okay, that's all right. The other thing I wanted to do is, so with VTubing, so obviously you've got my 2D model, and I was talking a little bit about 3D. So I actually wanted to show you. So this is actually free on Steam. So it's called Vroid. Now Vroid is recently had an update. So you can actually do a lot of really crazy stuff for it. So I'm gonna open it up here and then open it up here. There we go. So just so you know, I can't see anyone's hands up right now. So if you while I've got this up, if anyone wants to say anything, just come up to the mic and let me know because I can't see. So this is Vroid. So I've just got the very basic model open, but you can do things like you can give them like different hairstyles. So suddenly this character has, pigtails. You can change the color. You can make it like bright orange if you want. and you can actually customize this. So a lot of people use Vroid actually because it's free, right? And it does face tracking and things like that. I don't have face tracking set up for VTube Studio because I don't currently use it. But you can do all sorts of really crazy stuff with it. So you got like hair, you've got like different outfits. So let me zoom out a bit. Give me 1 second. Whoops, that's not the right button. I always forget because I don't use it that much. All right, there we go. So for example, we have a cute maid outfit that we can put on them once it loads. Let's give the hair something that's not like horrifically orange, shall we? Let's go with like a black hair. Might be a little bit less crazy, and then we'll do something for the front. Let's do this. Okay, there we go. So you can see here, like, and you can see all the stuff down here. It says like edit. You can edit stuff. Like that's all things you can add. Like you can do so much editing with this program. There's some that you'll see that are completely custom, and it's like crazy level detail. So you can see here, like you've got like different groups. You can do like different textures and things like that. There's a lot you can do with it. See without saving. I didn't make any changes, so I don't want to mess with it. Okay, where am I? Where is it? Where is the? They've moved stuff around, so I'm trying to find where it went to. Where is the? Ah, here we go. Let me do this, and let me zoom back into the face. Whoopsies. There we go. So if you're interested in starting to do VTubing, you can just play around with Vroid and make something. It's completely free. You can use it with other free programs to do all the face tracking. You don't need an iPhone. You can use like a webcam, and you can do things like, so over here on this side, you can do things like, you can move the eyes up and down. You can move them closer or farther apart. You can do things like iris size, so you can make it like bigger. Like the level of customization is really crazy. And you can go in and where is it? Trying to find it now. Eye sets, irises, should be under here. Yeah, here we go. So you can actually go in and use edit texture, right? So see how it's got this? So if I actually go into here and I can go like this. Now this is gonna look really ugly because I'm using my mouse and not using a tablet, okay? So just be warned. So if I do this, see how on the side here, it now suddenly has that. So you can actually sit there and just, you know, if we really wanted to, we could just color it all in, which is terrifying to look at, but I digress. But yeah, you got like all this really cool stuff that you can do with it. And you can change like the opacity, so you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. So I highly recommend if you want to do something like you want to, you know, try playing with some YouTube stuff, you can do Vroid, but actually with VTS you actually have the ability to try, because obviously I'm using my own models, but if I go back into here, so this is the mascot for let me find VTube. Here we go. So this is actually the mascot for VTube Studio, and you can see she has a little bit different animations. I think if I click this, she does different things too. You also have, for example, where is it? I'm now a cat. Meow. So you can, if you want to play around with it, you can actually give it a try just as is. Like you don't have to have a fancy model or anything like that. There's also Wonko, which is a dog in a bowl. Hello, woof woof. So you can do a lot with it. Like there's a lot you can do. But I was showing Stream Deck, wasn't I? Whoops, I got distracted. All right. Okay, I should probably change back to my. I should probably stop being a dog, shouldn't I? Here we go. Waiting for myself to load. My model has like really strong textures, so that's why it takes a little bit for it to load up. Okay, there we go. Now you can see me. Oh, you can actually see me in full body here too. So you don't see me that often like this, but I actually do have a full body. Some people don't. Some people only have half. Like my first model was only half, but I do have a full body, and I can even do steppies. Wee. All right, let me close that. Okay, So yeah, so with Stream Deck, let me find it again. I have all these little different settings. So these are literally just, they're empty, they're just pictures. But like, for example, for Twitch, so I have, because I stream with Zane, Ren, Oreo, and Chiro quite often, I have their own special tags. If I turn on, okay, let me turn this on here so you can see it. Okay, so you can see my chat box here, right? So you can see there's some people that have followed me, that it's like before. If I press on the links one, it auto posts for me. So this will take a few seconds because it has to delay through. But that actually sits there, and like I can use that to do, like I don't have to sit there and type it myself on my keyboard when I'm trying to play a game or anything, or if I want to you know, shout someone out that I stream with quite often, I can just do, for example, Zane, who has her own little thing, that sort of stuff. Yeah. So there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with it. Like, and a lot of this can translate just to streaming in general as well. Like, it doesn't have to just be VTubing. It's used for quite a few things. So, all right. So let's open the floor properly. Do we have some questions? Anything I've shown, anything in general that you have questions about regarding VTubing or streaming? I'm happy to answer any questions. I see no hands, no one jumping up. No questions, anyone? Oh, hooray, question. Oh, I should, I've lost my chat as well. Yes.
What are your hardware specs?
Oh, okay. So, yes, that's a good point. So for VTubing, you do kind of require a little bit of a stronger bit of a stronger computer. We'll put it that way. I had to upgrade my computer for when I started doing it more full-time. I'm not doing it full-time, but when I started doing it more frequently, simply because of the fact that I didn't have the kind of strong computer that I needed. So if you are using something that's like, as you know, playing really heavy games, like for example Subnautica or Doom, where they've got like a lot of graphics and things like that, you do want a stronger computer. So my specs are, and I'll just grab them because I've got them written down. So I'm using AMD, and this is a custom built computer. So I built this from scratch myself. I'm using an Asus ROG Strix B55, 550F as my motherboard. I want to upgrade it soon. And I also I want to upgrade the CPU, which is a Ryzen 7 3700. I have an RTX 3070 as my GPU. I have some Corsair Vengeance RAM, which is 32 gigabytes, and it's 3600 megahertz. So it's pretty strong. It's very rainbowy. I'll actually be able to show you guys shortly because I have my webcam set up to actually show off my desk, so you can kind of see my setup as well. And I have a Silverstone 1000 watt 80 plus platinum power PSU. And I'm using the Lian Li case because I like Lian Li, it's pretty, basically. Actually, what I'll do is I have to scooch back a little bit in my chair so that I can actually get there, but where is it? So I'll actually show you, aha. Excuse the corner shot there, but I'll actually, so look, you can see everyone, yourself here. Wave, you're on camera. There we go. But if you have a look, so I'll go over here first. So you can see my computer there. It's set to rainbow at the moment. I do want to decorate it some more. And then I have like my graphics tablet here because I do draw as well. I'm sorry if my model moves around a bit weird. It doesn't quite see me when I look this way. You can see that I actually have an extra stand there that I use when I do art streams. So I use my display there. So if I go back over here, if you have a look up there, that's me. That's how I'm moving around. It's my phone being recorded through there. It's on a phone stand. That is, if I do this, you can see. You can see it's in a very awkward spot. I wanna get a better location for my desk, but I can't at the moment. You got my computer. There's my Stream Deck. You can see my microphone. You can see I've got my Switch and my PS console. Yeah, that's my desk. That's how I have everything set up. I have a custom desk that I had made by a local carpenter here, because it meant that I could have the 2 screens and everything was like nice and easy to use, and I didn't have to worry about stuff getting in the way. And I shall turn that off. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes. What was your introduction into the VTubing world, and what was your inspiration into doing it yourself?
Those are really good questions. So for me, my introduction was actually the very first VTuber I ever saw was actually Kizuna Ai, and I actually watched some of her Love Live, pain, salt, crying videos where she's going through and trying to pull characters in Love Life. And I'd seen it around here and there. I'd seen like on my own feed, some of my friends were into HoloLive. So I saw a lot of clips for that. As for what just made me decide to want to do it is I had actually done streaming a little bit before. Usually it wasn't that much. I was mostly just for if anyone plays Grand Blue, I would be streaming my Sparks for when I was rolling for characters, and I'd be mostly just streaming it to friends. And then I realized that streaming was actually a really good way to play all the games that I've been neglecting. So I found that if I had someone to basically hold me accountable, because you know when you're playing a game by yourself and you go, oh, I'm just gonna go pause and go do something else, even if it's like a really interesting game. For example, one of my favorite games, Horizon Zero Dawn, I've played through it one time fully, and then twice I've played through about half of it because I get halfway and then I get distracted and then I do something else. But if I'm streaming and there's someone there and they're watching me, I have to keep going. I can't just wander off and go get distracted. So it was a really good way for me to have an excuse to actually finish the games and also make sure I didn't wander off in the middle of them. But I also liked getting suggestions, because you play the same games over and over and you can't really tell what's a good game or not. So having people come in and chat saying, hey, have you tried this game? Or hey, we're going to make you play so-and-so game. That was really fun too. And I like that idea. It kind of gave me more chances to branch out with that. And for me, doing VTubing is more fun than a face cam, because when you do VTubing, you can really do really cool stuff, like how I do my magic trick stuff, but I can't really do that with a face cam. I mean, I do magic in real life, but it's not quite as exciting as seeing it with a cute anime girl, right? So I can see some nods. Yes, no, I understand. Yes, yes, yes.
So how did you change your old design to this design just recently? Because I was at your most recent panels as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. So I don't know why it's not working. Why is that not working? Interesting. When I commissioned my model, I commissioned my main outfit, which is, if I can get it to come up, this one. And then I actually have it, so I can actually jump between the two. So I can do this. Or I can have it like this. So I actually, when I commissioned it, I specifically said I want to be able to switch, but I also want to be able to change between the two, because I like my twin tails. And while the short hair is cute, I don't want to always have short hair for this outfit. And I worked with someone else, another artist called Seiji, to help with this anniversary. So this is my anniversary outfit. So this is my anniversary design, this one. So I got them to help me with making a cool design. Let me, actually, because you haven't seen the full design for my other outfit, right? So let me zoom all the way out. There we go. So if I change to this one, so this is what this looks like. And you can see like the skirt's very wiggly and my twin tails are very wiggly. But I wanted to have something a little bit different, but something that I could change too. So what's really fun is I'll go back to here. because you can see a bit better, is I got a whole heap of stuff. So for example, I've got my doves. I've got things like this. I can hold my cards. Does anyone want to have a duel? Yes? No? No duels in the house? Oh, that's a shame. I do actually have a duel deck. I could technically have a duel right now, although I might get told off by the console. I can do things like I have a hat, and I have glasses, and I also have, if you see my magic trick, I've got my panel which you can use, and then the thing is too, like I can switch to like this, and I still have those. And then when I was getting this all done, I also wanted to make sure that I could do things like take off the coat. And I could take off the bag if I wanted to, or I could have just the coat with no bag. One of the reasons why I specifically wanted to have the coat removed, I can English, is when I have my twin tails, as you can see, they kind of take up a lot of space, which is a little bit difficult when you're doing collab streams with someone and I'm just taking up all of their space, or if I do this and then I'm just covering them entirely because my hair is just taking up a lot of space. So having it short can be quite convenient. Let me zoom in a little more so you can see a little bit better. Ignore where that zoomed to. No one say anything. Okay. All right. So I'll show you some of the cool stuff that I have with this model. So obviously you can see my mouth moving, and I can do but I can also do, I have things like, and I have and I can do combinations too. So I also have this angry face, but then I can do this. And this is a very different vibe to just having, you know, the angry face, right? Right? But yeah, so you can do like combinations of things. I have like swirly eyes, and it goes well with, huh? Nani? Nani? Wakarimasen. I don't understand. And then I have like a worried face, and I can do this if I'm really, really worried, usually when I'm playing like a horror game. I have a, oops. Yeah. Ick. Gross. Don't like that. Yeah. Yeah. Or I can even have like dead eyes. Just. And tears as well. These ones are a little bit hard to see, but. What do you mean? What do you mean no one's bought my merch? I'm so sad. And then obviously you've seen, let me zoom back out a bit, otherwise you can't see. So you've seen this one, where I changed some cards into a flower. And then I have this magic trick. Now these are all quite expensive additions to my model. Like I had to pay for all this extra rigging and things like that. So I went all in with like the fanciness of it. What I can do, like I'm just gonna grab my water bottle and I'm gonna have a drink. I can find my mouse, there we go. Or I could do things like, oh, you've been a good dove. Let me give you let me show you how good you've been. And I can give you a snuggle. I also have, and and if I'm mad at you, then so yeah. Oh, and obviously the main magic trick that I have, which is this one. Wee. So yeah, so and that all has to be like that all has to be set up in VTube Studio. So I set it all up in VTube Studio, and then I smack it all into Stream Deck. If I didn't have Stream Deck, I would not be able to do this as easily because it's a nightmare. I'm very glad I got one because there's a lot of different buttons. And when I showed you the Chibi model, so this one only has a couple, but whoops, wrong button. So I go back to here. Hi, hello. So this one also, so I use buttons for it too, so I can go and like that. So yeah, so these are all rigged up. These are all things that have to be rigged by the artist. Otherwise I can't do them. So a good example is recently in VTube Studio, they actually allow for hand tracking. So they actually do it so that like how I move my eyes and my mouth, they've actually set up for your hands, but my models don't have that yet. So I can't do things like wave at the moment, but once I do have that tracking, I will be able to do things like wave at people, or make like hand gestures, so I can do like a peace sign if I want to, all that fun stuff. But until then I cannot do so. So sadly that one's not available yet, but one day. In the meantime, I'll just have to live with once it loads back up, with this one. But yeah, so that's a little bit of a demonstration of like what my model can do, like some of the stuff you can set up. Was there any other questions? Where am I? Here we go. For some reason, I don't know why, but my proofs aren't working.
What program do you, or are these models rigged in, just out of curiosity?
Oh, okay. So I'm using what's called VTube Studio. And then when I did that demonstration earlier with the video, so I used PRPR Live, which is another one. There's a couple others available for Live 2D. So you have things like FaceRig can do it. There's a couple of like Japanese programs that can do it as well. I don't know the names of them all because I don't use the Japanese programs. Some companies, so for example, HoloLive, they have their own dedicated software that they use with like, from what I understand, it seems to be like they have like a server, which allows for like such nice quality streaming with multiple models. There's other companies that use, so I showed you the OBS Ninja. So there's other agencies, so VTuber agencies that actually use like the Ninja in that as well. So they don't have the same kind of money that say HoloLive does. So they use those kind of programs too. For 3D, you have things like VC Face. So with Vivo, when I showed you Vivo, it's only how to make the model. It doesn't let you, like, it doesn't track the model's movements or anything. That goes into things like VC Face that allows that. And then you can have extra stuff. So for 3D, you can have what's called an AR toolkit, which allows the same sort of like this stuff as the live 2D, which usually what will happen is the person who's doing it will charge extra for that because it requires a whole bunch of finagling. The other thing with 3D models is you can actually do stuff in Blender as well. So I know that there's a lot of really cool 3D stuff you can do in Blender. Making a VTuber is one of them. So if you know how to do modeling, if you know how to do things like putting bones into a model in Blender, you can rig them up to actually be used as a VTuber that way. Things like VR chat, you can, like VR chat uses, like there's a whole bunch of VTubers that use VR chat and they use VR chat models, or they use their model that's a 3D model that can be used in things like VC Face or in VR chat. There's an Australian VTuber by the name iCandy who uses Unity for a lot of their streaming. So there's so many different options. And obviously, if you can't do it yourself, there is someone around that can do it for you. Just depends on how deep your wallet is. And how much you can afford. But again, like if you're starting out, you don't want to just go all in straight away. You don't want to sit there after like say a month and you've spent, you know, like $500 and you go, actually, this isn't for me. And then you've not necessarily wasted the $500, because if you had fun for that time, then it's not really wasted because you enjoyed it. But that's $500 you could have spent on spinning in a gacha. So I play a lot of gacha games. Okay, it's a running joke of like, do I buy this or do I buy gacha? So yeah, so there's so many different programs. I was actually going to do like a live demonstration of PRPR Live versus my current model, but my computer was not happy with me, which is why I have the video instead. I'll run that again just to show in case you missed, because I know a couple of people did come in later. Let me find it. It is over on my OBS. Aha, here it is. Let me play this again so you can kind of see. So with the software, you do have to, like I said, you have to make sure that you're using the right application. And then the OBS stuff was to show you kind of like some of the quality you can see and when you're doing like shared streaming. Also, this video was kind of laggy because I had so many different things open. So unfortunately, like even for VTube Studio, you could see that it was kind of not as smooth as what I'm doing right now because I had like 4 different programs open, recording and sharing and all that sort of fun stuff. So, Any other questions? Yep. What would you like to ask?
What is one thing you're proud of during your time as a virtual YouTuber, as a virtual streamer, VTuber?
Oh, that's a really good question. One thing I'm really proud of. See, the thing is, I've done a lot of really fun things streaming. So, I think my proudest thing is the fact that I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually an introvert. It's actually I am not a outgoing person. So this is definitely not something that I in real life it's very difficult talking to people. So I think for me, the proudest thing is the fact that I've gotten much better at actually talking to people. You can actually look at my older clips of my streams where I didn't really talk to chat as much. I didn't really have a good way of interacting with people. And through streaming, I've learned how to do that. So I'm actually really happy with how I've managed to become better at talking to chat, playing games, usually screaming at the same time because it's either a horror game or I'm trying very hard not to die whilst also talking to chat and playing the game. But yeah, for me, I'm really happy with the fact that I've been able to grow as a person. Which is kind of funny because, like I'm currently 2D, right? But in actually talking to people and learning how to interact with people instead of just, talking to someone at the shops or talking to talking to a room full of people across the globe. There's no way I would have done that a year ago. No, thank you. But here I am. I'll have another drink. Give me 1 second. Yep, go ahead. I'm just grabbing a drink while you walk over.
So you said that you were commissioning art pieces. How did that process go? Like when
Yes.
what's it called? And also, are we talking about in the hundreds of dollars or in the thousands?
Well, it depends. So there's a couple different ways of doing it. So you can, there's a couple of Discord. So there's a really big rigging group called Iron Vortex. They're some of the best in the industry. They actually have their own Discord where they allow people to post marketplace. So they have like marketplace listings of, hi, I want a VTuber who can do XYZ, or hi, I can do this kind of rigging. These are my prices. Contact me if you want to commission me. That's one way you can do it. Another thing is you can look on Twitter. People post all the time on Twitter. If you can speak Japanese, then there's websites like Mizima, or there's a couple other places that you can actually access and talk to Japanese creators who can do the same sort of thing. You can also do things like if you happen to know an artist personally, like one of the artists that myself and Zane and Ren get art from quite often is our friend Kana, who is also the person who drew Zane's model. So Zane's model was actually drawn by a friend. So we actually said, hey, are you interested in doing this? And then that's what happened. So I kind of drew that for them. Now, in terms of price, oh, let's just say my model costs more than my computer. That might give you an indication if you heard the specs. Like, I have a 3070 in my computer, so that alone is a good indication of how this current model, because I have a lot of fancy stuff with it. I'm obviously using a very high-end illustration. I'm obviously got a lot of complicated stuff with it, and it's quite a large file size, so it's a lot more difficult to work with. The first model that I had, so my original model, that one was, I think it was about 270 USD when I got it. And that was from someone who was just starting out. I have Twitch chat saying it's rude to ask such things of a lady. That's okay. I don't mind talking too much. I'm not going to give exact amounts for like the other stuff because it's quite expensive, but it's an investment for me. And it's something that I want to do and I had the ability to do. Some people, their models don't cost the same as mine. They have, I've seen somewhere the art alone is like several $1,000s. And then somewhere the art is like, $100 or $500. It depends on what style you look for, what rigging you want, all that sort of fun stuff. The other thing is too that if you have a look nowadays, there's a lot more art and rigging groups too, so you might get a discount. So there's some places that will give you a discount if you go with someone on their staff roster that is an artist, and then someone who's also on their staff roster that's a rigger. There's a lot of different options for that. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Yep.
I was just wondering, do you have like any advice for somebody who might be interested in getting into VTubing? Somebody who's like just starting?
Yeah, sure. So for me, what I found was really helpful was actually looking at other streamers. You don't necessarily have to, sit there and watch 10 hours of their content, but seeing what other people do really helps you kind of understand what you would want to see. The other thing you want to do is if you do start streaming, you want to look at your own content. So you want to go back and watch your own videos, which I know it sucks. You have to listen to your own voice, ick, gross, whatever. But it's helpful to know like, oh, okay, so the volume really sucks here. Because if you're starting out, you may not necessarily have people say, hey, your audio is too quiet, I can't hear you. Or, hey, the quality is really bad on this thing. And having that and critiquing yourself in a nice way is really good. You can also do things like there's a lot of guides and tutorials on YouTube that explain, certain very specific softwares. So if you want to get for example, when I was looking into my model, I looked up VTube Studio. I originally started with FaceRig because I couldn't get VTube Studio to work. And then I got VTube Studio to work, and then it had a whole lot more available to me. You want to look at other streamers, you want to look at your own stuff that you're doing, and it doesn't have to be live content either. A lot of people just post like videos that are edited and put up on YouTube. There's also looking on places like Twitter, seeing what's popular. Don't necessarily have to look at the big streamers either. You don't have to look at HoloLive, you don't have to look at Nijisanji. You can look at smaller independent streamers. So you have people like Vienna, who's she's not really an independent streamer. She's part of Cloud9, but she is like a smaller streamer. You've got iCandy, AICANDII, who's a 3D streamer and also is an artist for a webcomic. And you can see the sort of stuff. Because the thing is, right, you won't know about stuff that exists. Like if I hadn't told you about TITS, which is the program that throws stuff at you, you probably wouldn't have heard of it, right? So you go in, you can see, and generally speaking, people are pretty good at leaving credit for things. So you can go, oh, what's that really cool thing that someone has? Okay, it's that. I like that. I want to use that for myself. But meanwhile, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have any clue that it exists, unless someone happens to mention it to you, right? The other thing is too, like you want to look at Twitter, you want to look at Twitter, you want to join the community, you want to maybe see other people and chat with them, make friends, all that sort of stuff. Like I have several friends that I've made in the community. And then I've also there's several people that I no longer talk in the community. They've decided they don't, that VTuber is not for them. People who aren't even VTubers, there's people to chat with, all that sort of stuff. You can also do things like not just the live 2D Discord, but there's, you know, like fan Discords for VTubers, or like specific VTubers, or like general ones. You keep an eye out for things like free assets you can use. So there's a hashtag, for example, on Twitter, which is hashtag free VTuber assets. You look there and you can see a whole bunch of free stuff. So with the little items that I showed you before, those are all like free things. So some of them come with the app itself, and then some you can actually download and add. And that's all stuff that you can add that's for free, that you can enhance the experience. And for example, my background, which you can see here, my background was a commission, but you can find a whole heap of free stuff as well. Let me see if I can find, I don't have anything on hand here. I don't have anything on hand, but there is there's like websites that have like free backgrounds you can use. You can have like free tables. You can have all sorts of fun stuff. So you don't have to actually spend a lot of money, as long as your computer can manage to run it. Anything else? No, another drink. Yep.
All right. Have you, when you did some streaming on Nintendo Switch, did you stream like Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, or Donkey Kong?
So the last game I played on Switch is actually Animal Crossing. I also played all of Pokemon Snap, the new one. And I recently was gifted Mario Party Superstars. So I'm planning to break my friendship with MLC.
Wow.
We'll see how we go. Depends. I can be quite lucky in games, so Zane may get grumpy at me if I keep stealing all her stars. I want to play more games. I want to play I'm looking forward to a bunch of games that are coming out. For example, not on Switch, but the new Horizon game. I'm really looking forward to that. I really love Horizon Zero Dawn. I need to finish playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, for example. I started that and I didn't get a chance to finish playing it. There's some other stuff that I want to do in my streams that isn't just art, like or games. This is technically art. I don't know if anyone here knows what a garage kit is by chance. No, not really. Okay, so garage kit is a figure that is made out of resin, so it's not made out of like plastics like you normally get. It's usually done by like a fan of a series, and it's like a custom, there's only like usually like a couple hundred of them, and you actually sit there and you sand off all the edges, you paint it, you put it all together, and you make it as like a whole thing. So one thing I want to do in the future is actually have my VTubing as part of it, but then also have a window like I showed you how with my camera, and actually have it so you can see me making stuff in real life, because I like to work with resin and do craft stuff too. So you can change it all up. Like there's so much different things you can do as a VTuber. Like some people only play games, some people only play like one kind of game, but I like to do different things. So looks like we're at time. Is there any final questions? Oh, if you do want to ask any questions, and we have run out of time, I do have a VTuber, me personally, like a Jezebel Q&A tomorrow, which is at, let me check the time. Never mind, I've lost it. Oh no, where is my, I accidentally closed the window. Oh yes, another thing is, when you're a VTuber, be prepared for things to be scuffed. Always, something will always go wrong. It never goes correctly. It's just a given. Let me find it. Here we go. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. is my Q&A. So if you want to come and ask me more questions, you're welcome to. And I can ask, I can answer more questions about, you can ask me about character lore. You can ask me about more streaming stuff. You can ask me my opinion about anime or music, things like that. I might show off one of the things I do as a VTuber is, and a lot of VTubers do this, is song covers. So I might show off the full unreleased version of me singing World Is Mine, because I did a cover of that. I've only shown a hint of it online. I haven't shown the full thing yet. So if you come by tomorrow morning, you'll get to see that. Also, at the merch table, I am there when they stuff me back in a cage, so you can come come and talk to me there. And if you would like to, there is some merch of me and not some merch of Zane as well. But yeah, thank you all for coming though. I hope that answers some questions. Like I said, if you got more questions, feel free to come ask or come tomorrow. Thank you. Yes, applause.
Quick question: are you a night owl?
Yes, I am. I've been awake since 1 a.m. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thanks again for the panel.
No worries, thank you. Yes, there's a dove where I'm not there. So if I'm not there, just look for the dove and you'll find all my stuff. All right, thank you everyone. Have a good rest of the con.
Thank you.